In this video, I'm going to share with you my tugging routine right before a run. This is me in the red circle over here, sitting on the bench, waiting for our turn. I've got the dog out. She's just relaxing, doing her own thing. And then once they call us, it just so happens we're going to be the first dog in this particular class. I'm going to stand up and then tell the dog, or cue the dog to tug by telling her to get it. And so she latches onto the tug here, and I'm going to make my way over to the ring. So I've got the dog tugging on the leash. I'm going to walk here into the ring. The dog is tugging the entire time. So we have a very good transition, a smooth transition from outside of the ring to inside of the ring. That's where a lot of people and dogs really struggle. They get anxious once they step into the ring. That's where the tugging really helps. And it's nice because you're allowed to take your leash into the ring. So I'm reaching down here now with my left hand. Let's zoom in here with the left hand. I'm going to unclip the leash, but I'm going to continue to tug. So the dog is tugging on the leash. Now she's unclipped, and I'm tugging with both hands here. Now if the dog happens to let go and I'm not ready for the dog to let go, I will just tell her to get it again. And so here I tell her to get it again, and I present the leash to her, give her a nice clean bite surface. That means I put a piece of the leash in between my two hands and I hold it still. She knows exactly where it's going to be, and I can tug with her. Then I tell her thank you, and that's my cue to let go of the toy. And you can see her actively work here to let go, to get that toy out of her mouth, even when the leash is a little bit stuck on her mouth. Opens her mouth, and then as soon as she outs the toy, I cue her to sit. Even if she sits on her own, I will go ahead and cue her to sit. I get rid of the leash. You can see she's not at all focused on the leash, which she was just tugging on. And now we can go ahead and move into our lead out and go ahead with our run. And so I'm just going to fast forward here through this run. This run was clean and a very good run. And so after this run, what are we going to do here with the leash? Well, the leash gets transported by the leash runner to the other side of the ring. And so what I'm going to do is continue the behavior chain. We have several obstacles because we ran an entire course, and I'm going to add in a hand touch. So we've got a left hand touch here. I target the dog to it. She touches it with her nose. And then we've got the leash here. So the leash runner actually this time is going to hand me the leash. I go ahead and take it. And the first thing I always do, whether I pick the leash off the ground or off a chair or table, is I clip the dog. So I'm going to clip the leash to the dog's collar. And then once I do that, I will invite the dog to tug again. So now I've clipped the leash. It's connected to the dog. And I tell the dog to go ahead and get it. This way the dog is under control as I leave the ring. And you can see it's clearly attached here, and I'm tugging with the dog. Here I'm talking with my camera person. And now I've got the dog tugging on the leash, so it's a very smooth transition. They went from playing with the leash right into the start of the behavior chain, which is the start line, sit and stay. They finish the entire course. They do a hand touch, and then they get clipped and start tugging. And so that's a routine that's the same every time. Here's their reward. She's going to do some spins here. I'm cueing these on a verbal. This is rewarding to the dog. And here I'm going to really play with the dog, get my hands on the dog, get the dog excited about the tugging. And then we will head over to the crate and get the dog's food. And so this is just one long behavior chain. Into the crate, unclip the dog, and then we're going to get the dog their food. In this case, I've got Zooks. They're going to get treats and water. And so this is what we're looking at in agility, and this is one of the really useful applications of tugging.